What drug did you take once and thought nope, never again? Salvia. It's a very short trip, but I felt so much physical discomfort like my whole body was being shoved into a box despite the fact that I was sitting in the grass with a group of friends. Apparently it's not an uncommon side effect of the drug. I felt like my body was made of sand and the air conditioner unit behind me was blowing me away piece by piece. One of the scariest experiences of my life. So, you experienced the snap, you got Thanos'd and didn't realize it. Topiramate, Topamax. A drug used to treat migraines and seizure disorders. I started developing a couple of the less common side effects, including facial numbness/tingling, visual disturbances, and most concerning to me, aphasia. The scariest thing about the aphasia is that it can be permanent. Sorry, but I'll deal with the headaches, which weren't even migraines. Just a stress phase I was going through, and keep my words. Thanks. I have chronic migraines and get Botox for treatment now, but had to fail 3 other drugs including Topamax. It helped my headaches, but I felt like a fucking idiot because I couldn't form sentences and had horrible word recall. I also had crazy vertigo and almost fell over at my standing desk multiple times. No thanks. Luckily Botox is a lifesaver. Not a drug, but I was told I needed to take a fiber supplement and went with the fiber pills. Then I went to the emergency room because I felt like I couldn't breathe within a few minutes of taking them. Fiber pills swell up easily with water, so they can end up feeling like they are sealing your throat. I now take fiber gummies and actually enjoy having a little treat every day. This wholesome little gem in a comment section full of hardcore drugs. Go on with your fiber gummies. You. People joke, but fiber supplements can and will fuck you up. They absorb water like crazy, which gets them stuck in places. Ironically, they can also cause blockages in your intestines. So you have to drink water like crazy and take them at the exact same time. Every day, ideally with food. Any less than that, and you'll be cramping all day like someone kicked you right in the kidneys. Ketamine. The doctor said it was safer than propofol. Yes, the stuff that killed Michael Jackson. That he used it in the army many times and it just has minor side effects. He'd inject me with it. I'd go out like a light and not remember a thing. Well, what seemed like years later, I woke up from my near-death experience with lizard god people hovering over me mumbling some foreign language. I had fell from reality into a black hole. I traveled the cosmos of the universe, transcended the planes of time, and landed back on some alien world called Earth. A few hours later I realized I was in error and this doctor had taken me on a psychedelic trip of a lifetime. I got put to sleep as a not very religious person. I woke questioning my existence and God. Never again. Well, until I die. I was given ketamine to knock me out for dental surgery and I guess they didn't give me enough because I woke up halfway through, able to feel everything they were doing. The dentist looked like a giant crow pecking at my teeth. They noticed I was awake and gave me more. And when I finally woke up, I screamed the entire ride home and for 2 hours after, just hysterical screaming. That's horrifying and terrible. It happened 6 years ago and I still have nightmares about it. Tetracycline. Turns out I'm allergic. Did Gob steal your doctor's notes? I know what you were trying to say. My name is Judge Bob Loblaw Lobs Law Bob. Ambien. Woke up in my underwear on my neighbor's porch. My girlfriend was having trouble sleeping and her doctor gave her a prescription for Ambien. First couple of nights, no problem. Then I wake up one night and find her in the kitchen. All the burners on the stove turned on full. Semi-lucid. She said she wanted to make soup. I managed to get her back into bed. 2 nights after that, I wake up to find her out in the garage. In the car, engine running, wearing just a pair of knickers. Said she needed to go to Albertsons because we didn't have peanut butter. She quit taking Ambien after that. I didn't know Ambien by name. Different brand name here, but I instantly knew what it was when I read the story. Brand name still knocked here, and I have a shit ton of stories since I've taken them when needed for like 15 years. I had no idea what Ambien was. Had trouble sleeping due to anxiety and friend gave me something called Stilnox. I knew very little about sleeping pills and turns out keeping myself up instead of trying to sleep lead to some interesting experiences. Nothing extreme, but images. Pictures while browsing felt alive. Paintings, especially portraits, were creepy, moving their heads, following me with their eyes. No more portraits in my flat after that experience. No more portraits in your flat. That was your takeaways from the experience? Oxycontin. Shit was too relaxing and didn't last long. I had knee surgery and they gave it to me for the pain. I took it for a week, and when I wasn't on it, I really wanted more. After a week of it, I never wanted to touch that shit again. Same for me. I was prescribed some after a pretty painful oral surgery, and the first day back at work, don't worry, it was a desk job, no heavy machinery. The pain was so bad I gave in and took one. I remember zoning out at one point, looking at the clock on my computer and realizing I had just sat at my desk staring at the screen for 2 hours, and my mouth still hurt like a bitch. I started with 30 pills and the other 29 sat in my cabinet for years, until I finally took them into one of those expired drug collection things at a local pharmacy. I surrendered some at my local pharmacy, and they had to get the manager, because no one knew where the box was. Nobody had used it in years. Heroin. Too good. Knew it'd get its claws in me if I did it a second time. Some people say it's like a whole body orgasm. Is that true? I won't say that. If a sneeze is 5% of an orgasm for a fleeting moment, heroin is 30-50% of one for a couple of hours. Quit trying to make me do heroin. You know the famous saying, liquor before beer. Don't do heroin. For me, meth. I did it once under the presumption that it was cocaine. It was not. I had to go to the hospital. I mean, I probably didn't have to, but at the time, I had only smoked weed. I didn't know how to deal with the increased heart rate and paranoia. For my friend, Benadryl. He is a really hardcore tripper and can handle inhuman amounts of psychedelic substances. But he said that the one drug he would never do again was Benadryl. He said that his experience had lots of spiders. Him quite the psychonaut. So when I heard DPH was a thing, I of course had to try it. I did it way too many times, but the worst, absolute worst time was the last time I did it. I was in and out of consciousness, and I was having such vivid dreams I had been Snapchatting my ex-girlfriend. I'd wake up, and we were talking at the time, but not about what I thought it was. So I'd answer in some delirious manner, fall back asleep and repeat. Eventually I started to sober down, and my entire house was spinning around me, and I couldn't move. Never again. I use Benadryl to fall asleep sometimes. Like just one, not like 30 at once like y'all must have been doing. I had a reaction like the one above from one Benadryl. Some booze and some weed. It was absolute hell. This was in 2005. Booze and weed is a harsh mistress to tame on its own. Some of the sickest, in the bad way, nights I've ever had were from drinking a slightly above normal amount than smoking a normal amount. Fuck throwing Benadryl on top of that too. Muscle relaxants. Worst cramps I've ever had when the drug stops working and you realize you have cramping muscles at the soles of your feet and between all your bones. My dentist gave me Vicodin and muscle relaxers after getting my wisdom teeth removed. Everything was soft, even the air. Benadryl. Took around 700 to 800 milligrams, like 25 or 30 pills, a while ago to trip. Not a good recreational drug. It's like how people who don't do drugs imagine acid to be like. I'd actually vividly see things and people that weren't there. I'd see people come in the room I was in and sit next to me on the couch, and I'd start having a conversation with them, only to blink and have them disappear. I'd get up and start filling up a cup of water, and bam, it'd be back on the couch, never having gotten up. I don't remember most of the night, but my friends said I was just in a complete different world. They had some funny stories from it though. Apparently at one point I pulled my pants down and just said "It's in my pants." Holy fucking shit, dude. That's a lot of Benadryl. And I mean a lot. If I remember right, you can trip on half of that or less. Jesus. Check her out next time. Surprised you didn't end up in the hospital or something. He did end up in the hospital, but then he blinked and he was on his couch. The Benadryl kept corrupting his new saves. Hey, thanks for watching and don't forget to subscribe.